Thank you so much for being here both. I'm excited to chat more about this. Now, you guys have worked together in a different way on the show NCIS, but now you're working together and telling stories, but in a different medium via these books. This is the second one, Ghost of Panama. Of course, the first one was Ghost of Honolulu. What has it been like taking your relationship, from the screen to now to the page?
It's been seamless, and from my standpoint, it's the same type of relationship, asking different questions. Of Mark is asking me, and I'm answering him, and now we get to ask other people about what their experiences were. So it's pretty much seamless from my standpoint.
We always talked about this, Carrie, from the beginning. The show was originally introduced and based on real cases, and that's how it was presented to me. And then you start doing a TV series every week, and then that format changes. So Leon and I would always talk about the real versus the Hollywood. And if we had the opportunity at some point, which now we have, I don't, I don't think either one of us thought about writing a book. But the first one obviously was very successful, and there's certainly a lot of stories to tell. The interesting part about this one in Panama was Leon was there, so and also those people you're talking to obviously are alive versus the research we did on the first one, and you're basing that totally on research. So this has been certainly a more contemporary tale, and our second of who knows how many stories.
Hopefully many more to come. I think stuff like this is not really known to the public. NCIS, I don't know anything about that. I'm a girl from the Midwest. Like, none of this clicks or makes sense to people until they see it in a format that clicks for them. Maybe that's a show, and maybe some of it's not all real, but maybe it's a book. And you guys are able to bring these stories to people who otherwise would not know about them or know anything about NCIS. How does that make you feel? And like, is that the mission?
Well, I think, I don't know if it's the mission or not, but it makes me feel great, and I'm sure it makes 2,000 other special agents who are on the job now feel great as well, because I grew up in a time where no one knew what NIS or NCIS was. And because of the shows, now our agents go all around the world, and people will ask them if they know Leroy Jethro Gibbs, right? So it's just one of those things where it's brought a lot of morale lift to our agency, and we really appreciate the fact that we have those shows on.
Yeah, but you don't know about it for a reason, because these are quiet professionals, and that's how they do their work. And the TV show, like when I first started this show, if you looked up NCIS online, there was nothing, and there was nothing for a reason. And now if you look up NCIS, there's a ton of stuff, and 99.9% of it is about a TV show. Which is very different from what these individuals do and the quiet work that they do so well. And that's been a joy to open that up a little bit and let people tell the stories that they've, number one, never been asked, and number two, have never talked about.
So people who are going into this book, what can they expect, compared to the last one? If they read that one and enjoyed it, what can they expect that will be different, or how will this one grab them?
I think the major thing they'll see is the relationships that the agents have with family. In the first book, we weren't able to talk to the family beforehand. We did hear from them after the book was released. But this one, we talked to Anya Yell, who was Rick Yell's wife, and he is the protagonist in this, and the daughter, who was just a real little girl at the time that this happened. And we talked to even other women that were married to agents. All the agents at that time were men. And so I think that's the big difference. We weren't able to do that in the Honolulu books.